And joining us to pay tribute to Ray Phiri is Eugene Mthethwa. He's the president of the South African Music Industry Council. Eugene, good to have you, and thanks so much for joining us, and our condolences to yourselves, the music fraternity at large, and the South African community. You've done a lot of work. You're a crusader and activist when it comes to protecting not only intellectual property, but even the legacy of musicians. We can talk on end about the 30-year beautiful history around Stimela and Ray Phiri. But what happens now that he's passed on in terms of what government can do in preserving the legacy?
Well, thank you for having me, and good evening to they normally say to the listeners, because we normally go to radio station, to the viewers. I think one thing that I would relate to with Ray Phiri is that he was a cultural activist himself. This is one person who could tell the history of the South African music industry from A to Z. And I'm reeling because I'm saying we are losing these icons who could be telling the story, the history of South African music industry. Currently, government has got a program called Masterclasses, which it would then take legends to go and transfer skills to young people, go and mentor young people. But unfortunately, it only takes one when they become 70. Which I feel the adaptation from the United States as it is not conducive for South African industry because of certain things that I would mention. For instance, the mortal rate compared to South African mortal rate compared to United States would be different. An artist in the United States at the age of 20 could be a millionaire or billionaire, but in South Africa it takes you for years, in fact, your lifetime, to become a millionaire. So to say that one would wait until at the age of 70 to start therefore transferring skills, we have lost Ray Phiri. He had not started transferring skills to young people. And God forbid, I'm looking at Dr. Philip Tabane, for instance. Beautiful guitarist. Beautiful guitarist.
Yeah, and that's the preservation, I think, that of
Exactly.
Our indigenous knowledge that is lost. I mean, it's one thing to be playing the music and getting needle time, but it is about the wealth and wisdom that is lost as well.
Yeah, we normally, in an African way, our history is told from one generation to another generation. So if we're losing this generation, silent as it is, because they are no longer relevant, the radio stations don't play their music anymore, it means that we are losing that history. We won't be able to tell our young ones what really happened in the 50s.
Yeah, and contextualize also the struggle of primarily black performers, artists, and you can take it across the spectrum in the entertainment industry, that what is it that keeps our musician at a place where they're not benefiting, they don't really enjoy the love of their, or rather the labor, or the fruit of their labor, so to speak?
Intellectual property is the major business in the music industry or in any sector. Now, if that intellectual property is not correctly protected, you still have a similar situation that existed in 1967 when I was born. That says one is not an owner of his own intellectual property, but there are holders who are owning by virtue of having paid, which means therefore intellectual property is no longer a right, but a privilege. If I can pay for you to do a particular series for a particular season, I own it because I paid for it.
So if it were commissioned, how can that be reversed if we're talking about economic transformation and also restoring that which rightfully belongs to the artist?
I like the fact that you are using the correct terms. If you were a politician, I would have much trust in you. Because now you're talking transformation, which means that we are still using the same old models that were there before Freedom Day, and still. Let's look at, for instance, land restitution. Land restitution says people were forced out of their land they lost their rights. They gave away their title deeds. You have music rights, where people were forced to lose their music rights because they were desperate. Jim comes to Joburg, doesn't have a place to stay. Ray Phiri told a very beautiful story around that, talking about your talent scouts, how talent scouts, they became labor brokers, middlemen, and in a way, they would be the ones who communicate with the gallows that we never knew. We worked for them, but we never saw Gallo. Up till today, I don't know Mr. Gallo. He would then talk to Mr. Gallo to say, my artist needs ABC. And then he comes to you and says, Ubasi uti. You know, so you lost your rights around. So many of our people are dying poor because they don't have these rights. They should be recurring. There are royalties. They should be getting royalties every year, every 6 months. But we don't have access to those facilities. Now, a correct measure to do that would be saying, let us, for instance, those that signed contracts before 1994, those should be null and void because they signed them out of ignorance. They did not understand, out of desperation because of the system that was forcing them to be the labor mass. Let's get back to that and say, therefore, let's redistribute these rights. The restitution of rights of land is a similar process that should be taken to restitute the rights, the intellectual property rights. Let Mahlatini own his rights or family own.
But are those debates or discussions currently being ventilated or making some inroads to try and return stolen property, as it were?
If I had guards, I would go to the tallest building in South Africa and throw myself down because it looks like people would only listen when somebody does something drastic. Because we've been talking. I mean, we're currently dealing with the white paper review. And some of the things I said, for instance, the issue of 70, as I said that should one be at the age of 70 to be regarded as a legend, to start training. And if I was a Minister of Arts and Culture, the Soweto Theatre will be packed every Thursday with these legends talking to young people, transferring skills. The issue of rights, as we talk, we have a media that is not receptive to South African content, but foreign content. We have foreign content that is coming through our borders, walking this time, not on radio, walking to come and take jobs for artists. There's a lot that we need to talk about. Unfortunately, nobody has an ear.
Yeah, I know you had pains, and I know you've become a crusader. This is almost like your life purpose, in a sense, to try and create fair treatment of artists and hopefully so that they can enjoy the benefits of their talent. We have Njali, he's a drummer. Ninjani bam. Our deepest condolences. I mean, we were just talking about career highlights and why that the majority of artists don't benefit from their God-given talent due to an exploitative system that took advantage of their vulnerability. If you can just talk us through the days of Graceland, the work you've done with Ladysmith, Black Mambazo, Look, Listen and Decide, all those nostalgic moments that we need to preserve and restore.
Oh yeah. Oi, manje yindebe ndaba man?
Yeah, yindeba.
Yeah, khona mina ngibuya ekudeni kakhulu no Ray since sisonke from 1969, if I'm not mistaken. Yes, 1969. In fact, wathola mina kwenye iband beyibizwa iJabavu Guluva and Jabavu Queens. Mina kuleyo ndawo leyo bengiyidrama lapho, but bengisesemncane of course. Yena wafika ke lapho kuleyo group leyo waba idancer. Okay, kuhamba kwesikhathi ilentuza i-lead singer bokuyi like amantombazane noMahlathini, yabona leya system leyo yabo Mahlathini eMahotela Queens. So uRay bekadlala leyo part leyo ukuthi uMahlathini wakhona. But akuzange phela isikhathi eside sabona ukuthi ukusebenza namantombazane kwangathi kungaphezulu kwamandla. Iband igama lakhona bokwamazimzini. So sayikhansela lento ukuthi asihlukaneni nalamantombazane, asitshentsheni i-type music manje. Satshintsha negama sazibiza ama-carnivals. sahamba sazofika leyo nto leyo beyenzeke nelspate besenelspate sonke. So uma sesizibiza ama-carnivals seza ngapha eGoli-ke ila sahlangana khona noMpharanyana. Siyama-carnivals kwahamba I'm sure 1970 angisazi 70 bani sahlukana noMpharanyana. Ukuhlukana kwethu noMpharanyana uRay wathi ayi mina angisazi ngeni lezi zinto lezi angisafuna ukudlala amagatana. But now well mina ngoba bengizithandela umusic hayi ngayokhulumisana namanye amadoda bengiwathola ngapha kulentuza kuma-movers ngathi hayi madoda uRay uthi hey carnival sisayibulala mina nani nine-problem ngapha ku-movers nathi sine-problem ngapha kuma-carnivals kunganjani ukuthi i-2 yangapha ijoyinane ne-2 yangapha.
Baba Mtshane bengicela ubambe nje kancane sina ama-callers afuna nabo ukuthi pay tribute kuBaba Ray Phiri. Dipuo, good evening to you, and Mzizi will coming to you next. Hi, Dipuo. I'm fine. How are you?
I'm calling you with a heavy heart. A legend has fallen, Cindy. It's just a pity that.
Oh, I'm sorry. It sounds like we've lost you there, Dipuo. Saying hi, there you are. Yes, we can hear you.
Yes, I'm saying a legend has fallen. It's a pity he grew up and lived in a country that doesn't give a damn or doesn't give care to artists. It's a shame that in Tate Phiri was Amaya, how na institution, how na grooming, how na nothing. We only see our politician and minister whenever any artist at Amaya. We petty them high. I'm proud of him.
Thank you so much, Medipo. And we have Mzizi. Good evening to you.
Hi, how are you?
I'm fine. How are you?
I'm well, thanks. And Eugene on the studio. Yeah, you know, Mina, I grew up listening to type of music. Even today, I'm still a fan of such music. One thing that one will remember Mr. Chikapa with the moves and the beautiful smile that he had. Not forgetting the beautiful songs that are still playing on my mind even today. Singer Jindi Majita and see the world through the eyes of a child. You know, I hear Eugene sentiments with regard to institutions and giving back to the community and so forth. But I think it starts with each and every province to recognize the talent and to recognize the people or the product from their province, that they should take it into their own shoulders, that they take these people, nurture them and take care of them. At least for now, I hear that the Mpumalanga province, the MEC of Art and Culture, they were in a move to recognize Upra Chikapa with the contribution in the music industry. So I would like to echo the very same sentiments that Eugene has just shared now.
All right,
that it's up to the... Thank you.
Thank you so much for calling. Sonti, hello to you.
Hi.
Hi, hello. I'm fine. How are you?
I'm okay. I am so devastated. I met Uri. He was a very good friend of mine. I met him with Graceland 30 years ago, 1987. I'm one of the girls who was singing the backing vocals for Paul Simon. And we've been friends since. Ray has taught me so much. He was a few years older than me. And I'm so upset. I am so upset. I spoke to him about 2 months ago. I've always been friends with him. I am shocked. Actually, when I heard about him being hospitalized, I heard that his medical aid has been exhausted. I immediately called Paul Simon because I couldn't think of anybody but Paul Simon to help. And Paul Simon could not answer my phone, but he returned my call. And he said, okay, I'll see what I can do. Then, the following day, I hear that Ray is gone. It's gone. I immediately sent Paul Simon a text message. And he said to me, oh, I'm so sorry, Sonti. When is the memorial service? I would love to come in. I would love to attend. So,
yeah, no, our condolences, Ma'am Sonto, you know, yeah. We hope you'll find comfort in the music, as the saying goes. But thanks for your call and for that fitting tribute. We have Goodness calling us from Durban. Good evening to you, Goodness.
Yes, how are you?
I'm fine. How are you?
I'm very fine. I like to pass my condolences in Ray, because Ray is one, when you talk about Ray, Papsi, they take me back. They refresh me in my youngest. If I think about Ray, I think about the New King Smith in Durban in our earlier times. So I think about the Pindamzala Noel cousin, who had that nickname because of Ray Phiri. Hey,
Yeah, Goodness,
sorry.
thank you so much. Our condolences indeed to the family. And we're going to say goodbye to Njali. Thank you so much for your tributes as well. Let's now bring it back in studio. Zwakemboli, poet and singer, good to have you. And thanks for joining us. Really a difficult one to discuss. Before you came in, Eugene was talking about the need for reparations to address the situation that musicians find themselves in, particularly when they're supposed to enjoy their golden years. There hasn't been adequate support afforded to them.
It is a sad situation that we continue to lament. Besides the fact that one should say Ray lived life to the fullest, without mixing what I'm saying, that he made a very huge impact, no doubt about that. I think people have fallen, giants have fallen, but this was an icon of a different nature. But you see, similar to your Miriam Makeba, who would say, my son, what can I do at my age? I still have to go on stage and fend for myself. And she went and collapsed on stage. At the age of 70, Bra Ray still had to go and perform without retirement, because if we were to hang up his gloves, there would be a question that would have to be addressed, whether what is it that has been accumulated, the future, whether he would have enough to, live on without him entertaining the world, something that he loved the most. So it is unfortunate situation. I think we are talking about somebody who has survived them all. He was not gigantic, but he was fearless for the fact that the so-called might of apartheid regime could not deter him or intimidate him. That was Bra Ray. And also in terms of music and the craft, he was skillful. It's not a mistake or a default that Paul Simon could not help but to rope him in to make sure that the Graceland becomes a success. But in this country, nations should be judged by how they treat their own artists.
Yeah.
For the fact that Bra Ray was there even when we started an anti-piracy campaign, post-1994, that we still had to go and march with Bobra Jonas Kwangwa, take it to the streets. And what I'm talking about is still happening even now, where people sell music everywhere. To them now, piracy syndicates. It's a bright face. It's Christmas because now the Stimela has lost a legend. Now this is the time they're going to make sure they sell enough in the streets of Ray Phiri's music box is now pumped in every radio station. So there's no protection. Let alone that you say the airport, the NPA, people, they get burglared, but we have been experiencing the burglary, the theft of artists' intellectual property throughout the years. It was so bad under apartheid, but post-apartheid in a democratic state, things, my sister, some artists are saying it was better under apartheid than where we are now.
Well, but why are we still experiencing the lack of appreciation for legends and trailblazers like the likes of Ray Phiri? Why is that still the case, even if these recognition around Ikamanga, those kind of things, are those adequate? Are we recognizing our artists properly?
Well, the unfortunate situation and the reality is that you have to die first to carry value in this country. Those recognitions, they come with no value at all, because it's just that recognition to say, here we are, we thank you for the role that you played, but it doesn't put bread and butter on top of the table. It's not a bread and butter issue. Also, the media, our airwaves, for not playing much of our music, it means that people are fed what is foreign and they would love what they hear every day. That's why we don't get appreciated. I was talking to my child and she says, Africa, it's Africa month, so am I supposed to wear the skins and all that? And I said, look, people from outside, they're coming to buy the skins and they wear them outside the country. We are not proud to wear them. Yeah. I've got something that I'm doing with Kwaito boxing. It is all over the 62 countries. All over 62 countries. When we are talking Kwaito is dying in South Africa, we have broken barriers. In 62 countries, people are embracing Kwaito, they are dancing Kwaito, they are listening to our music.
But give us a sense of hope that the legends that we've lost are not in vain, that there is some inspiration or hope that we can carry forward for especially younger artists.
Cindy, the generation of the now have no excuse not to write lyrics with substance. Because there's no security branch, there's no detention without trial, there are no death squads here, there are no disappearances. So Ray Phiri wrote his lyrics with substance under difficult situations, under an oppressive regime. But they were prepared to dance, to make sure they entertain people, to make me and you not to suffer migraine. So they are duty bound now to make sure that after all, a relay race is lost in exchange for a patent. They can emulate what Ray did. They can now begin to write, not encourage drugs, drug addiction, substance abuse. Now is the time for them to say through their songs and dance, away with no, not in our name, away with violence against women and children, drugs, because drugs have become dream killers. Now, Ray Phiri, this is the man. If you have to understand him better, listen to what they wrote, the music, the lyrics. It's nation-building material. It's something that boosts their morale, especially people who are under an oppressive regime. So they have no excuse. Just that, as you're saying, is this enough? It's the same as Boshaga, Bomushweshu. They fought for the land. They fought for something bigger than what we have today. But instead, if the oppressors knew that only after 1994, this is what we fought for, they can sleep nicely at night. They don't have to worry anymore. What belonged to us, it's never returned. So it's like, yeah, it's our kids and the generations will say, what is it that you...
It's a continuous battle, a luta continua.
Yeah, but the Ray Phiri scenario, when we were people talking about playing too much South African music vis-a-vis taking millions abroad, and they were saying, now, this local content, this local music, they were then referring to, I wish people can come today, after the death of Ray Phiri and say, we are the ones who are saying, we don't want stimula music, human secular music, old music. Yeah. Now everybody is praising.
My brother, with all due respect, I'm afraid we're out of time. Really appreciate you coming in. Mzwakhe Mbule, poet, singer, and legend, activist. And we have Eugene Mthethwa, who's the president of the South African Music Industry Council. Thanks so much for joining us, as well as we continue to pay tribute to Ray Phiri Alale Ngokolo.